Hey, Christina, we see you there. We're waiting on Zachary before we get started.
Okay, just let me know.
Will do. We're good here. All right, Christina, we're going to get started. Zachary's going to walk in a minute or two, but we'll just go ahead and get started now and then.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
All right, ready? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charles Allen. I'm the Ward 6 Council member and chair of the Council's Committee on Transportation and the Environment. Today is Thursday, September 25th, 2025, and we are meeting in room 120 of the John A. Wilson Building, as well as on the Zoom virtual platform. The time is now 12:33 p.m., and I'm calling to order this additional meeting of the committee. For the record, I'd like to note that we have a quorum consisting of Councilmembers Shanice Lewis-George and Christina Henderson and myself. And I believe we may have Zachary Parker joining us momentarily, and I'll acknowledge him when he gets here. Today, the committee will consider and vote on two measures. Bill 26-66, the Youth Advisory Council on Climate Change and Environmental Conservation Establishment Act of 2025, and PR 26-227, the Board of Directors of the Washington Metrorail Safety Commission, Brad Belzak Confirmation Resolution of 2025. First, the committee will consider Bill 26-66. This bill was founded on a simple but powerful truth. Young people are not just tomorrow's leaders, they are already today's advocates, and they deserve a seat at the tables where districts' climate and environmental policies are determined. As future stewards, young people already have, and will continue to, inherit the consequences of our climate change policies more so than any adult. Yet too often, youth have been excluded from formal decision-making and left without a venue through which they can influence the policies that will impact them and future generations. This bill would change that. Bill 26-66 establishes a Youth Climate Council, or a YCC, to advise the mayor, the council, and the Department of Energy and Environment, and the Commission on Climate Change and Resiliency, and other entities on policies regarding climate change, mitigating or adapting the effects of climate change, environmental conservation, and green workforce development. The YCC will consist of 17 members, 9 appointed by the mayor and 8 appointed by each ward's council member. 14 members must be high school students from a public school, public charter school, or independent school operating in the district. The remaining 3 seats have been set aside for 18 to 21-year-olds who may, but do not have to be, enrolled in a school, college, or university in the district. The YCC will not only advise district officials and agencies on laws and policies, but also have the opportunity to propose its own initiatives, collaborate with peers and community partners, and publish its own findings and recommendations. The YCC will also have the opportunity to formally appear before this committee once a year, but of course would always welcome to testify to any legislation being considered by this committee. While both drafting and considering this legislation, the committee worked directly with many young people, high school students, college students, youth leaders, as well as youth-serving nonprofit organizations from across the district. These stakeholders made it clear that young people want to help develop their own and influence existing policies to address one of the greatest challenges of our time. Their testimony was passionate, informed, and direct, and their ask of this committee was clear: to create a formal space through which youth can shape policy responses to climate change and environmental degradation. We also heard from experts and advocates, including members of other youth climate councils in the country and the Commission on Climate Change and Resiliency, about how this model can be transformative when given real support and attention. To that end, the bill requires that the YCC receive training from DOEE on the district's current climate and environmental policy landscape so that the YCC recommendations can be as informed as possible. The committee has worked carefully to ensure the YCC will be inclusive and representative of the district's diversity, including the voices of young people from disadvantaged communities most affected by climate and environmental inequities, such as those in wards 5, 7, and 8. The bill also allows YCC members to receive a modest stipend, both in recognition of their service and to ensure youth from all walks of life can participate. The Council's Office of Racial Equity noted in its Racial Equity Impact Assessment that this provision is a key component for success. The committee's, and by the extension, the Council's legislative intent here is clear. We want to empower young residents to contribute to the district's climate action and to hold us accountable and help us think creatively about solutions. And although the YCC's recommendations will be advisory and not binding, they will be visible, heard, and influential in shaping the district's response to climate crisis, which will only worsen if we do not continue to act, and to act with those voices at the table. Should the full council approve this bill, I hope the executive will move quickly to appoint members and provide DOE with the necessary resources to support them effectively. The sooner we launch this Youth Climate Council, the sooner we can begin to benefit from their passion, perspectives, and experiences. Today's action focuses on building intergenerational leadership to address the climate challenges ahead. With this bill, we send a message that young people in the district are not on the sidelines. They are at the center of shaping a sustainable and resilient future. And as the father of two passionate young children, I'm proud to have authored this bill because I know the impact it can and will have, and I look forward to working with this body once it's up and running. Let me turn to my colleagues if there's any discussion before I call for a vote.
Mr. Chair.
Councilmember Henderson.
Mr. Chair, the only thing I wanted to mention here, just on the record, is the size of this particular group. As you know, I'm always a bit skeptical when we get past 15 members, actually even past 11 or 13 members of a particular body. How did we come, or how did you rather come to the number of 17 as the appropriate number, just to make sure that this group, number one, is able to meet quorum, but two, is actually able to execute on the things that we have outlined for them to do?
Excellent question. Thank you very much. It starts actually with the council. So because we wanted to have each ward be able to have a nominee, that meant we started with 8. And I think that was important both because of the differences we see across our city in our wards, as well as just so many young people in high schools across the city, that we thought it was best to make sure that each ward council member could appoint one person. So once we made that decision of 8, that then flowed to the next decision, which is that as an agency that is run through the executive, the mayor is able to have one more than what the council puts forward on commissions. And so that required 9, so a total of 17. I would hope that we work collaboratively with the executive to get these nominations made quickly. And I can think of, for our ward council members, I'll bet you can think of 2 people at least that would be great for this. And so maybe that's one of the ways we partner with the executive to get these seats filled quickly. But that's the number. I agree with you. I always have a little concern when it gets too big, but I think there's a clear rationale on this one of why we want to make sure each ward has representation, kind of what that triggers.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. There being no further discussion, I want to move to approve in block committee report and committee print of Bill 26-66, the Youth Advisory Council on Climate Change and Environmental Conservation Establishment Act of 2025, with leave for staff to make technical, editorial, and conforming changes. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any ayes have it. Next, let me turn quickly to PR 26-227, the Board of Directors of the Washington Metrorail Safety Commission, Brad Belzak, Confirmation Resolution of 2025. For quick background, the Washington Metrorail Safety Commission was established through an interstate compact between the District, Maryland, and Virginia. The District approved the establishment of the Commission through the passage of the Washington Metrorail Safety Commission Establishment Act of 2016. In 2017, Congress granted the 3 member states consent and approval to form the Commission. And in March 2019, the Federal Transit Administration certified the Commission to assume direct oversight responsibility of Metrorail. The Commission is governed by a board of 6 members, with 2 members appointed by each jurisdiction. Each jurisdiction also appoints 1 alternate member. The appointment resolution before us today, PR 26-227, was introduced by Chairman Mendelson at the request of the mayor on June 13, 2025, and was referred to the Committee on Transportation and the Environment on June 17, 2025. PR 25-227 would appoint Brad Belzak as an alternate member for the Board of Directors of the Washington Metrorail Safety Commission for a term to end February 9th, 2029, filling a vacancy left by the departure of a former appointee. While the committee did not hold a formal roundtable on the nomination, I did meet with the nominee on September 16th, along with committee staff and a member of the Mayor's Office of Talent and Appointments. In terms of the nominees' qualifications, Mr. Belzak is a security professional with over 22 years of experience in senior management, policy development, and operational leadership across the federal government, private sector, and international settings. His career reflects extensive engagement in homeland security, defense, risk management, and organizational transformation. Most recently, Mr. Belzak served as Senior Vice President and Chief of Staff at the Export-Import Bank of the United States, where he oversaw day-to-day operations of a 550-person workforce, a $140 million operating budget, and a $135 billion loan portfolio. His responsibilities included revitalizing workforce programs, spearheading process improvements through the integration of artificial intelligence, and overseeing infrastructure and security upgrades. He has also served in other federal roles, including the Director of Homeland Defense Integration within the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy at the Department of Defense, and Director of Legislative Affairs at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, or DHS, where he advanced legislative strategies for the Office of Intelligence and Analysis. And earlier in his career, he held multiple policy, intelligence, and emergency management roles with DHS, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, and the U.S. Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs. Mr. Belzak has extensive experience in the private sector, holding various roles that include disaster management, security agreements, and financial investigation consulting. He holds a Master's of Science in Security and Resiliency from Northeastern University and a Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science from Elon University. He's an active member of the International Institute for Strategic Studies and holds a certification as a Certified Fraud Examiner, and he is a Ward 2 resident. During my meeting with the nominee, Mr. Belzak explained that his career has focused on security and safety-related issues, making service on the Commission's Board of Directors a natural fit. He also summarized his recent service with the Biden administration, during which he managed several air traffic safety issues and worked with the National Transportation Safety Board. He hopes to apply that experience with air traffic safety to his service on the commission, where he'll be tasked with improving the safety of our Metrorail system. Mr. Belzak also expressed interest in forging a better working relationship between the WMATA board and the commission while still fulfilling the commission's oversight responsibilities. I will also add that I had the pleasure of working with Mr. Belzak in my former role as Judiciary Chair, during which he was nominated and served on the Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency of the district, and I found his service to be exemplary. The committee finds that Mr. Belzak's extensive experience in Homeland Security, transportation safety policy, and organizational management makes him highly qualified to serve on the WMSD. His career demonstrates a consistent focus on safety, crisis management, and accountability, which aligns directly with the mission of the WMSC and to oversee and improve the safety of WMATA's Metrorail system. His prior service on the district's Homeland Security Commission further reflects a strong commitment to public safety and preparedness at the local and regional level. And the committee believes that his skills at interagency coordination, risk management, and policy development will contribute significantly to the WMSC's oversight responsibilities. And I recommend that Mr. Belzak's nomination to the commission be confirmed. Is there any discussion before I turn to a vote? And I want to note that we've also been joined by Councilmember Zachary Parker. All right, hearing no discussion, let me now move to approve in block the committee report and print for PR 25-227, the Board of Directors of the Washington Metrorail Safety Commission, Brad Belzak, confirmation resolution of 2025, with leave for staff to make technical, editorial, and conforming changes. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
That's an aye, not an opposed. The ayes have it unanimously. That's going to conclude the committee's markup of proposed resolution Bill 26. Committee's markup of Bill 26-66 and PR 26-277. The next scheduled Meeting of the committee will be Thursday, October 16th, when the committee will hold a public hearing on the following bills: Bill 26-244, the Micromobility Fire Safety Standards Act of 2025, Bill 26-245, the Personal Delivery Device Weight Limit Amendment Act of 2025, and Bill 26-246, the Automated Curbside Management System Amendment Act of 2025. There being no further business before the committee, the time is now 12:45 p.m., and this additional meeting of the Committee on Transportation and the Environment is now adjourned. Thank you.